This issue of Japanese history deals with the Genpei battle. This battle was the first ever large-scale battle between samurai, in which Japanese warriors fought on the side of the Taira clan and the side of the Minamoto clan. In the previous article, I explained about the Minamoto clan. This time, I will discuss the Hogan Rebellion, a battle in which the samurai's position became more important. The Hogan Rebellion was also the first battle in which samurai took part in a nobleman's quarrel. Before explaining this battle, the political system of the nobles and the emperor at that time must be explained. 100 years before this battle began, Japanese politics was in the hands of the Fujiwara, a great aristocratic family. They made their daughters the empress's concubines, and when their sons became the next emperors, they held great power as the grandfathers of the emperors. It depended largely on the lifestyle of the aristocrats of the time. The aristocracy of the time was based on commuter marriages, in which the husband would go to his wife's family home to meet her. When a child was born there, the wife's family raised the child, and the husband's family was not allowed to intervene in the raising of the child. In other words, the emperor's children were raised by the Fujiwara family, the wife's family. This meant that his grandson, the emperor, could not ignore the wishes of his grandfather, the Fujiwara. Thus, the Fujiwara clan gained immense power in the mid-Heian period. Such custom of commuter marriages was discontinued in the late Heian period. Emperor Shirakawa, who ascended to the throne in 1073, initially conducted politics in cooperation with the Fujiwara family. However, Muramachi Fujiwara, the chief Fujiwara and at the prime of his working years, died suddenly, leaving no one of the Fujiwara with significant power. The emperor at that time was Emperor Toba, grandson of Emperor Shirakawa. In the midst of the confusion of the Fujiwara, Shirakawa personally assisted his grandson, the Emperor Toba. This was the beginning of the Insei government. The retired emperors, rather than the Fujiwara, the great nobles and emperors, held political power. This system of power was continued until 1153, the year of the Hogan Rebellion, when Emperor Shirakawa's grandson, the retired Emperor Toba, came to power. In 1141, Pope Toba deposed Emperor Sutoku, son of Akiko Fujiwara, and enthroned Emperor Konoe, son of his favorite son Tokuko Fujiwara. Emperor Konoe was the younger brother of Emperor Sutoku. Emperor Sutoku, who intended to become retired emperor and wield power in the future, knew that having his younger brother as emperor meant that the emperor would not listen to his opinions. The retired emperor felt strongly dissatisfied with Pope Toba's decision to make this change. Civil strife was also occurring in the Fujiwara family, which was a large noble family. Tadazan Fujiwara tried to seize power at the imperial court by marrying off his daughter to retired Emperor Toba. Tadamiki Fujiwara, the Kanpaku, had no children, so he adopted Yorinaga Fujiwara and named him the head of the family. But then Tadamiki had a child and he wanted his own son, not Yorinaga, to be the head of the family. Here, he confronted Yorinaga. Yorinaga approached Tadazan faithfully and took a confrontational stance with Tadamiki. In 1155, Emperor Konoe died. Pope Toba had Emperor Go Shirakawa, the younger brother of the retired emperor, accede to the throne as the next emperor. This was to prevent the retired Emperor Sutoku from starting a cloistered rule. In 1156, Pope Toba, at the height of his power, died. He had used his power to suppress the retired Emperor Sutoku and Yorinaga Fujiwara. Shortly before his death, Pope Toba had his samurai under his command swear fealty to Emperor Go Shirakawa. His death led to a power struggle over who would take control of politics after this. The interests of retired Emperor Sutoku and Yorinaga Fujiwara were aligned and joined hands. The incident occurred soon after the death of Pope Toba. On July 5, 1156, 3 days after the death of the Pope, the monk Shinzai, a close associate of Emperor Go-Hirakawa, spread a rumor that retired Emperor Sutoku and Yorinaga were going to raise an army and direct it against Kyoto. and he ordered the samurai under the command of Pope Toba to defend the city. The emperor also issued an order forbidding Yorinaga from commandeering soldiers from his manor, and at the same time confiscated his property. This effectively made Yorinaga a rebel. Of course, Yorinaga did not take any action, but was provoked by Shinzai, a close associate of Emperor Go-Shirakuwa. Yorinaga had no choice but to raise an army and start a rebellion. On July 9, retired Emperor Sutoku fled his home on his own accord. He was seen by the public as a close friend of Yorinaga, and it is believed that he himself thought he would be captured by the emperor. He remained in a place called Shirakuwa. This was probably to win the support of Kiyomori Taira, who had the largest army in Kyoto. It was here that his name first appeared. Kiyomori Taira. As explained in the previous video, the foundation for the Taira clan samurai chieftainship was laid by his father, Tadamori Taira. He became Pope Toba's favorite samurai and rose through the ranks. He served as a receiver in various countries and amassed enormous wealth. The military power of Pope Toba was largely due to Tadamori. However, at this time, the samurai were servants of the nobility, and they did not hold power. The word samurai, by the way, is derived from the meaning of one who serves. In 1153, Tadamori died and his son Kiyomori became chieftain of the Taira clan. Like Tadamori, he served Pope Toba and was in charge of the Pope's Guard. 1156, he was 38 years old and in the prime of his career. On July 10, Yorinaga joined forces with retired Emperor Sutoku and raised his army. He sought to gain legitimacy for his army by teaming up with retired Emperor Sutoku. Those who rallied to Yorinaga included Tamayoshi Minamoto and Tadamasa Taira. Tadamasa was Tadamori's younger brother and Kiyomori's uncle. They were samurai who had formed a master-servant relationship with Yorinaga. The samurai who gathered under Yorinaga were his private army, and they were far inferior to those who guarded Emperor Go-Shirakuwa. Since Tadamori Taira's wife was the nanny of the retired emperor's prince, the retired emperor was hopeful that Kiyomori would side with him. However, Tadamori's wife, Ikizuni, anticipated that retired Emperor Sutoku would be defeated and persuaded Kiyomori to side with Emperor Go-Shirakuwa. Tamayoshi Minamoto was the chieftain of the Minamoto clan, but he and his son, Yoshitomo, were at odds with each other. Hearing Yorinaga's announcement, Emperor Go-Shirakuwa's side called for an army. The assembled army consisted of samurai who were loyal to Pope Toba. Kiyomori Taira, Yoshitomo Minamoto, Yorimasa Minamoto, and others gathered. Their forces overwhelmed those of Yorinaga. Before dawn on July 11, Kiyomori and his men, 700 in all, attacked the retired emperor's forces in a night raid. The night attack caused a total collapse of the retired emperor's forces, and Yorinaga and retired Emperor Sutoku escaped and disappeared. Yorinaga was hit by an arrow during the battle and died on the 14th while still wounded. Retired Emperor Sutoku surrendered to the emperor on the 13th. Following the retired emperor's surrender, Tamayoshi Minamoto and Tadamasa Taira also surrendered. After the battle was over, the incident was dealt with. The retired emperor was exiled to Sanuki. This was the first time in 400 years that an emperor and retired emperor had been charged with a crime. Yorinaga Fujiwara's domains were confiscated, and many of the nobles who had been in contact with him also had their property confiscated. Punishment of the samurai was also severe. The death penalty, which had not been used for 300 years, was adopted, and Tamayoshi Minamoto and Tadamasa Taira were beheaded. The greatest blow in this battle was inflicted on the Fujiwara clan, a large noble family. The Fujiwara lost their power due to the internal strife that arose from the struggle for the Fujiwara heir. Eager to deflect power from them was Shinzai, a close associate of Emperor Go-Shirakuwa. He wanted to shift power from the Fujiwara, who gained power by being related to the emperor and himself. The Fujiwara clan lost their authority to make decisions regarding their domain and personnel affairs to the emperor after this rebellion, and they began a path of decline. Turning to the samurai, Yoshitomo Minamoto, who had been at odds with his father Tamayoshi, became the chieftain of the Minamoto clan. Kiyomori, the chieftain of the Taira clan, greatly increased his territory and accumulated his power during this rebellion. It was Shinzai who benefited the most from this rebellion. Emperor Go-Shirakuwa, who would later hold great power, was still young and at Shinzai's beck and call. Shinzai's rise to great power led to the formation of an anti-Shinzai movement. This was followed by the Heiji Rebellion. This will be explained in the next issue. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to our channel and click the like button.